Ives does start off with the Lucci and play uses the the currently banned card that will be banned on April. Yeah, that is the Great Eruption. So it does pay it to draw one more and pass the turn. Jikko gets the 2 Dawn. What will he play? He plays the grade cost 1 character that allows him to throw away throw away the top 5, which might help or not help. Okay, it does kind of help. He does have the brand new, does have the Absalom, uh, a Gecko Moria. I saw a Borsalino, I believe, and a. I'm not sure of the last one. So back to Ives' turn. He will play. Lucci's turn does swing for. Oh, does swing for 8 and mills out 3. Now it's back to Ives. To Jikko. Swings with a 7 to leader. Mills the top 2. A Rebecca and a Moria. And he plays out the Hogback. Will fetch the Gecko Moria. The Gecko Moria early game, I guess that's okay. It returns back the Gecko Moria and the Absalom. And does pass the turn. Okay. So, I believe. So, it does block it. Okay. So, there's still. So, Lucci swings. Lucci's skill is that it trashes top 2 and your opponent's character's -1 cost for the turn. He can minus cost the Hogback or the girl, but he doesn't want to. He plays out. Ooh, he plays out Kaku. On skill of Kaku, place you may return 2 cards with CP in its type form from your trash. Put to bottom of the deck and KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 3 or less. So it does KO the Hogback, and now it'll be back to Jikko's turn. 6 or 7. Yeah, Jikko has 6 Dawn to work with. Okay, Jikko plays. Oops. Okay, Jikko plays Helmepo and gives up to 1 character minus 3 cost. For the turn, will minus cost the Kaku. And Kaku is KO'd by the Absalom due to the skill that is called back from Moria's skill. So as you can see, this is why I say Moria is like, in terms of board building and like control, Moria is very, very good because it can call any character from the trash that can just freely KO any target, and can build the board at the same time. So you have a character that can control your opponent's field, cannot work with anything. Ives has to play it slow. Jikko has an okay hand, but I'm surprised that Lucci has actually a very, very healthy hand. Lucci swings 7 leader and chooses not to proc the skill. Will he proc the skill? Okay, he will proc the skill to minus the cost of Absalom. It's now -1. Does mill out the stage, and looks like Borsalino. Could not tell. So it's -7k to leader. He does take it. Question is, what will be Ives' next move? He has 5 Dawn to work with. Can play defensive turn. Can also choose to pass. But that will also give you advantage to Jikko because he will play the Gecko Moria that he just fetched out. Will play the Rebecca that is also laying on his trash. Will pay the 5 cost. And we'll play Kaku. Kaku skill will be able to KO the. Okay, so does he have enough CP or type? I don't think he does. He cannot KO. Oh, he can't KO. Okay, so Kaku cannot. Kaku is not procced. I thought he can, but okay. So Kaku does not proc the KO for Absalom, or he's choosing not to pay the cost. Rather, I'm pretty sure he has enough CP to pay the cost to minus the cost of Absalom, but I'm thinking that he doesn't want to pay it because the moment Absalom returns back on field, he's going to KO again one of his Ives' characters. So Jikko is deciding how he's going to play. He will eventually play the Gecko Moria. He will fetch out blockers just for his turn. He does have the Rebecca and possibly the Borsalino. If he plays the Rebecca, he can fetch another 2k shield that he can work with for his defense. Kaku is just gonna stay healthy for a while. Ives' hand is also pretty healthy, but it's also, from what I saw, a lot of events. Swing 8. There's an 8 active on, but is he choosing to play? No, he will choose not to play. Okay. He will swing. Mhm. He will swing Helmepo for 5k to leader. Interesting. He will play the 5k to the leader. So is he going to play? Does get block. Then swing with the Absalom for 7k to leader. That's a plus 3k counter to be able to block it. And Ives does guard it with the plus 3k. Now Jikko casts Ice Age in place. Moria skill activates to discard one card from hand. He has an extra Moria in his hand, so he can afford to lose the Moria. So he does lose the Moria. Mills 2. Oh, okay. He does get the other Absalom. Is he gonna play the other Absalom? He will play the other Absalom to KO the Kaku. So it does return the 2C and the Ice Age to KO the Kaku. So Ives is back to 0 on the board again. Oh, this is so bad. It does, but still blocks it on the side of Ives. Now start of the turn and draw. So his hand is quite big, but he cannot answer the entire board of Jikko. That's four attacks, and he still has the extra. He still has the extra Moria in his hand that he can use. If it swings normal, 5k to Absalom and the Mill, and give minus cost to the Absalom. He's gonna go through his trash just a little bit, just make sure. He cannot do anything with the trash. That's 5k to 5k with a minus cost on the side of Jikko. So Jikko does guard it. Guards 1k for that. Lucci is now Ives now going through his trash, thinking that he can probably make a play here. Most likely a recycle of the CPOs or the CPs. What can he fetch? Or what can he recycle to be able to at least bring down the burden of his board? What can he play? Because as long as those as the field remains big, he can't really do much. We'll play the Great Eruption to minus cost to the other Absalom. So one is cost 3 and the other one is cost 2. It does get the draw from the Great Eruption. We'll play the Gecko Moria. Now the question is, what will he play from the Gecko Moria? And we'll play the Rebecca, so he will be able to cycle cards and fetch something, and does play the Helmepo. So Helmepo skill is to give -3 cost to one of your opponent's characters. So the Absalom now is at, or should be at 0. Let's get the -1 cost from the Rob Lucci and the other one from Helmepo. Now Rebecca's skill procs does play Spandine. Spandine allows him to return 3 CP cards from trash to bottom of the deck, and he can play any one cost. He can play one cost 4 or lower CP card that is not a Spandine from trash as rested. So he can play the he can play the Rob Lucci to KO the two Absaloms, and that should be the end of the turn. It's now back to Jikko's turn. Oh, that's actually pretty good. He was able to control the board and as well as bring up his entire field just from one card because of Gecko Moria. This is why I said the 8-cost Gecko Moria can do so much just from his own skill. Oh god, that's actually very good. So it's now back to Jikko's turn. He has 5 hand cards to work with. He can still play another Gecko Moria. And if he chooses to play the Absalom, he can only KO. Okay, so it's gonna be the mirror for the Helmepo. And does swing 1. Okay, swings leader. Swings a Lucci for 7. Doesn't pay the cost because he still has the Gecko Moria in hand to be able to call from trash, and does play the Gecko Moria. So he can choose to play the defensive turn or the offensive turn. Either way, it's gonna be very good. He can choose to play. Actually, can he even KO one character? I don't think he can. So he can choose to play defensively. He can pull out the Rebecca to fill up his board and get a defensive card to his hand, get a free blocker, and I believe he can get that is one way to do it. If he plays offensively, what cost 4 can he call to minus to KO the Rob Lucci? If it's not the Rob Lucci, it's the Rebecca that at the very least that you want to KO. He can play one Absalom. He can play Rebecca. Jikko is now deciding what is the good play here, or at least the very more optimal play. So he does play the Absalom. And will he play Suru? If he plays Suru, okay, he does play the Suru. But why is he taking away? He has 5 cards. Okay, so he does know. So he plays the Suru to give minus cost to one of his opponent's characters. He does give the minus power to Lucci. And because of Absalom's skill, he will KO the Lucci. So he still has to decide which cards to return to the bottom of the deck. Let's return the Absalom and one other card, and thus I believe he passes the turn. Yep, he passes the turn. Now Ives' turn. Now in this particular matchup, I am actually expecting both sides to go back and forth because there's going to be a lot of board control. especially since both of them are trying to fill up the board as much as possible and KO your opponent's board at the same time. So Ives plays the Spandam. Spandam allows him to check top three, reveal one CP type, and then the rest to the trash. And plays out the Stussy and KOs the Gecko Moria. So he doesn't see if there is a hogback there. If there is no hogback, then you should be safe to be able to KO the. Well, it's also still a very big threat to KO the Gecko Moria. And now Lucci swings, I believe, at leader. Will be guarded one cost by Sabo. Moria swings leader, and no, Jikko does not have a trigger and does pass the turn. It's now Jikko's turn. 4 characters on board and 10 Dawn with 2 life. And he draws. Did he draw into? Okay, he draw into Rebecca, so that's actually very good. So defensive hand on the side of Jikko. Jikko, will he play the Rebecca? Either way, if Ives gets cards that allows the minus cost on the Rebecca, that's already pretty good, especially since he can just swing at leader for 3 each. Because there's not much he can do. Also, Jikko has a Sabo in his hand, so he can afford to pay the Sabo. Because Sabo right now is like what? Two. Gonna be 6k. If Jikko plays the Sabo and the Rebecca combined, Ives cannot touch those two. They cannot be KO'd by card effects because of Sabo's skill. So either way, it's gonna be very, very difficult for Ives to be able to block it. If Ives does have a Sabo in his hand, he can play the Sabo in the next turn to be able to keep the Rebecca alive. Or if not, at the very least, Jikko can also swing vanilla so that he can at the very least make sure that his opponent cannot be able to have a more secure hand for the next turn. But still, Jikko with the Sabo and the Rebecca hand, that's actually very, very, very defensive. It's actually very good. Okay, Jikko does swing 6k. Moria on the leader will be blocked by the Rebecca. And still has 9 Dawn to work with. So let's pay all 9. Oh, he will pay for Stussy. Stussy does go online. Why is he KOing? Yeah, he can put one character into trash. Stussy takes away the Tsuru. To be able to KO one of your opponent's characters, he can choose to KO another Ives' Stussy or Gecko Moria. I think the more ideal way to do it is just to KO the Stussy. Stussy is the bigger threat compared to Moria for now. And if Ives finds a way to get the Moria, I don't think so. Okay, so he does KO the Moria instead. So now it's Ives' turn. Back to drawing the card. Does he have another Stussy to take care of the other Stussy? Jikko only has 2 life left with 4 hand cards, while Ives has a very healthy hand. Oh my god, I don't know. That's actually his trash. Never mind. Anton with the suisei, Kyo no Kai. Jomo Chisai. He was still thinking what can he work with on his trash. There's already it's already loaded with a lot of CP cards. I don't know if he can what can he play from his hand that is worth to play. I think he has another Gecko Moria in hand to be able to cycle through. If he plays the Gecko Moria, the very least he can get out again would be the Rebecca. But for the two cost, what can he call for his two cost? There is Spandam. There is Helmepo. What else? Because if you're playing four cost Rebecca, I'd rather just play it for Spandam or Helmepo. Probably Suru, but what is he planning? Thinking long and hard for their turn. I'm actually surprised. There is a lot of back and forth of board control, as expected for black. Since the current meta heavily favors on board control. Okay, so Ives has decided to swing 7. I believe he's going to swing at leader. And will he minus cost? Will he? Will he has to discard to be able to? Oh no, he has to mill before before he can minus cost. Okay, so he does trash. Question is, what will he minus one two? Oh, so he minuses one the Helmepo. He can call it Lucci actually. Call Lucci. But the thing is, Moria will be able to call out cards again from from trash. If he calls out a card from trash, he can call out Absalom. He can call out Hogback. He can call. Well, I have not seen a Hogback yet. I think. Oh yeah, I can see the Hogback now. Hogback is there at the back. Uh, so that's one way to set up a hand, but at the same time, your defensive is not that great, but still, you can still delay one turn to be able. You can still delay one turn to be able to get a card that is useful for you. So, like right now, I saw an Ice Age that's -5 cost to see on the side of Ives. Um, Jikko will be able to. What will he have that can KO 4 costs or less? Or he can force a call to be able to win. Okay, so he does call. Call out to get the minus and the rest. The swing at the leader. Tashigi is gone. He does throw away. Oh god. There's the Gakumoria. Fill up the field yet again. With the Rebecca getting a free call. Spandam as well as Helmepo comes back on field. As expected, there will be the minus cost. Spandam goes away. Plays the Lucci and recycles back. The KO goes to the okay, so it does go to the Absalom as well as the Helmepo, and the turn is passed. But it won't matter as much later because Jikko still has the Sabo and the Rebecca as well in his hand. But he can still call cards from Moria's skill. Does get to draw. Yes, has the Ice Age. Oh, the Perona. Wait, what happened to Sabo? Okay, so it does describe the Sabo. Drew into Lucci. Hmm. Is it Lucci? It looks like a Lucci. No, it's not Lucci. But still, Perona. Uh, does get the Perona and the uh, what's it? The Ice Age. Rebecca. Who's the last card? Because still thinking what he can do. His trash is still pretty filled that he can use from Moria's skill, but is he willing to go that far? Go ahead and he's going to think is it's a Helmepo, my bad. So he does have a Helmepo. He has the Ice Age, the Rebecca, and the Perona to work with, but he cannot get in another Moria anymore. So next turn, if Ives will be able to control the field again, because the Rebecca is still there, he can still KO. It can KO now the Rebecca if he has the hand to do it, but his hand is also pretty low. Both Ives at 2 with Jikko at 1. If Jikko does not want to give Ives any hand advantage or anything to work with, he has to pass the turn to be able to make sure that he does not get anything that will help with this advantage. The Rebecca should help in harvesting cards from the trash. So, what is the move for Jikko? Still thinking on time. Currently at 7:30. Okay, so I think Jikko is gonna have to swing with leader first. Pay the cost. What's he plan to do? So he can pay the cost. Swing with he can swing with. Technically, there is a way for Jikko to do something. He can swing with leader, play the Ice Age to minus cost on the Rebecca, play Absalom from trash, but it doesn't really help. Honestly, he can technically play Absalom. Pay one cost to minus Rebecca. KO it with the Absalom with Moria skill. Then he can play the Rebecca into the field. Or he can just swing to enemy characters. Okay, so he does choose to swing for the enemy characters. Uh, he's still deciding. So Jikko is at an impasse actually. He's still deciding what to do. Not deciding. He's still deciding whether to finalize the attack against the Helmepo. And does go for it. 5k to 3k. Ives does give it away. Trying to control the field by just attacking on the characters, but I don't think he is willing to let that happen. He can swing Stussy at the Lucci, the character Lucci, but I'm sure Ives will guard it with the. Okay, he will swing Stussy at the Lucci, definitely. Will guard it with the Rebecca. And now Jikko can play his entire hand if he wants to. He does play 4 cost Rebecca. So the Rebecca comes out and he will cycle to the trash. He will fetch out the Sabo. Sabo skill procs, and both of them are safe from any chaos from hand. And he does get to draw. And he has to discard cards. So that will be the end of Jikko. So Jikko will have 2 blockers that are that cannot be KO'd for this turn. So at the very least, Ives will have to swing normally, or will have to swing at the or will have to swing at Stussy to at least -1 threat. But definitely the Lucci is there. So Ives is thinking how he can attack. Stussy is a big threat on the side of Jikko, but Ives is still in 2 damage, so he can afford it. He will swing at the Stussy. If Jikko can technically block it, he has the 2k guard if he wishes to throw it away. He also has the 1k guard. But no, he's choosing to take it. Okay, so he's down to 1 life. He's down to no life at all. Ives has no guards yet. Oh, he will play the 10 cost. Well, no, if he plays the 10 cost, if he pays 10 cost, no, he won't be able to work against the 2 blockers. Jikko has 2 blockers. Ives can actually. Okay, so Jikko draws the brand new from the life. Worked for your win con. You still have a very big hand to work with. Okay, we'll attach 4 Dawn, 10k to leader. That will be 10k to leader. I don't know why he rested that. And Jikko throws away his entire hand. That keeps him up alive. He has 2 blockers left. So he can choose to attack, but the Stussy will also remain alive. Either way, Ives will have to swing at the Stussy, but it can still be blocked. Either way, Jikko can just guard the last 2 attacks. He has the entire hand to throw away. So he does throw away the Rebecca. If he swings with the leader, he has to block with the Sabo. And I believe the Sabo will swing. Okay, swing Sabo. Does throw it away and he does pass the turn. Jikko will only have 1 hand left. So, and it has a lot of trash to work with. If it just needs to guard the last 2 attacks, but oopsies, there's a big oops. No, that's okay. There you go. If it's at 4 hand, Jikko only at 1 hand. He cannot do anything anymore with that hand. He has to swing at leader for 1k each. So from her, that is 2, 4, 6, 7. That is 7 on the leader. He has no choice but to do it because his hand is. I don't know what he drew into his last hand, but it's not gonna work. He's gonna swing 8. Oh, okay. He's still deciding. The very last attacks. Make it count. That will be 8, 9. 9 to who? I think Jikko is. Okay, he will swing 9 to leader, I presume. Or you will. Yeah, he will. He has to swing at leader, sadly. He cannot do anything else anymore. Last 3 attacks. Make it count. Still have 7 Dawn. Moria at 8. Ives just needs to guard with 4K counter. Will he finalize it? He will swing 8K leader. Just needs the 4K guard. If he has the 4K guard, Jikko cannot anymore. That's it. Jikko surrenders. Ives is your flagship champion of March 30, 2024. Congratulations to Ives for the Rob Lucci deck.